So look, just lying down. And just making yourself nice and comfortable on the earth. Just taking a moment to settle. This morning's practice, we're going to just be working very gently with our bodies because the seasons are changing and we're going from autumn, well, we've just moved into winter. So moving from autumn to winter. And it's a time for us to really kind of like slow down this Advent period. And I was talking on Monday about Advent and how it means that something's coming and the light is coming. So in, what's the date today? It's the 2nd, isn't it? So in 19 days, the light will be returning. So because we've had such beautiful weather and bright days, it doesn't really feel that the light's really gone yet. So over the next few days and weeks, it's going to be becoming very dark in the evenings and darker in the mornings. So it's when we notice it most over the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks. And we should welcome the dark, as this is a time for us to really allow our bodies just to rest. And we should kind of like nurture our bodies in this dark time. And it's a time where we could really think about our practice and everything we've learned over the year in our yoga practice, when we've worked with the chakras, we've worked with pranayama, we've worked with the 8 limbs of yoga. This is a time really to kind of like draw in a little bit and just kind of reflect on our yoga path this year. So it's been maybe a little bit more intense than other years, but that's not such a bad thing. Wouldn't it be lovely every year we could dedicate 3, 4, 5 days to our yoga practice, to ourselves. So it's not very often that we give time to ourselves because we're always rushing here, there and everywhere. So your practice is the time where you kind of give back to yourself, you nurture yourself. We're still going to be working with the water element today. So as we breathe here, I just want you to feel the fluidity of the breath. And the water element is represented in the sacral chakra. Just above your root, below your navel, Svatisthana chakra. So as we breathe, I just want you to bring your awareness down into that center and just notice that as we breathe, our body doesn't really stay that still at all. And as we breathe, that pelvis might be rocking backwards and forwards, just a very gentle little movement in the body there. As we rock back and forward, just very gently. As you breathe in, you feel your body opening, expanding, and contracting. And just feel the weight of your body just dropping down into the earth. Just imagine it's melting down and just expanding and spreading out along the earth. Start to deepen the sound of the breath. Think about your Ujjayi breath. That nice deep breath, deep in the throat. And just notice that little pause at the top of the breath. And then as we exhale, just breathe in all the way down. Think about drawing the navel all the way back to the spine as we breathe out. And then just holding that breath out just for a moment. And then from here, breathe in. And feel that breath just expanding out. And breathe all the way out so you can feel that movement in your hands. So hopefully we're able to breathe all the way into our hands. And then as you exhale, all the way down. And just have a little hold here. Pull back on the bandha. So we think about just through Uddiyana Bandha, just holding it down here. And then as we breathe in, the hands expand and lift up. And then as we exhale, come down. I want you to feel a little bit of retention. Just check in with your shoulders there. Make sure your shoulders haven't started to creep up to your ears. Keeping them down on the floor, just letting that breath flow. And you can have your thumbs in your belly button, the fingers down on the pubic bone, and the sides of the hands onto the hips. So you're creating that yoni mudra, that diamond shape with the thumbs in the navel and the fingers on the pubic bone. Now from here, we're going to bend the knees, bring the feet onto the floor. Just adjust the body here. Press down into the feet and really feel that you're grounding with those feet. Be aware if you need to just move, rock into that pelvis, making sure that it feels nice and easy. Now take a nice long deep breath in, slightly arch up through the back as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, just press the navel down into the earth, just rolling through the back body. Just lifting the pubic bones slightly up, chin tucks in still. And then as we breathe in, we rock the pelvis. So we can really feel that movement coming through the lower back. Exhale. And then just rolling into that press into the floor. And then breathing in. And just rocking and moving that pelvis. And the hands move. And we've got the Yoni Mudra, which represents this sacred feminine. And we've got it over our reproductive organs as well. So just drawing energy into those sacred organs. Now from here, we're going to breathe in, really lift. Hold the breath in here. Feel your belly expanding. Feel that big arch in the lower back. Now, as you exhale, roll the lower back into the earth. Now, notice the elbows come down into the earth. Push into the elbows and just start to peel the body off the floor. Let the hands come down by the side of the hips. Keep that chin tucked in. If you've got anything underneath your head, just removing that here. And then exhale, pull the hips down towards the heels and then turn the hip bones up towards the ribs. As we just come through one vertebrae at a time, you'll notice the thumbs can come back into the navel, fingers onto the pubic bone, press down into that pubic bone as we breathe in. And then as we exhale, just rolling, pressing in to the thumb, pressing, rolling into the lower back, lifting up, making sure the neck is nice and long, and the shoulders pressing down. Roll the elbows down into the earth and the hands come up either side, and then exhale and rolling down again. Just one vertebra at a time. Feel these hips rolling in towards the ribs as we push through and lengthen. Breathing in as we exhale, last time coming up, rolling, lifting. Now this time, just walk the shoulders slightly closer towards the feet. Drop the hands down. You might even be able to touch those heels there. Press into the hands, holding it here. And just lifting, lengthening. Feel the stretch along the front of the legs. Open up through your root chakra, your sacral chakra.
through, actually the whole system there is working. And then exhale, and then just rolling down. Pull the hips towards the heels, and then just releasing all the way down. Bring the knees in towards the chest as a little counter pose, and then circling through those hips. Just a nice little movement. And as we roll through the hips, just notice how the body moves. Notice those little bony parts in your sacrum, and then back in the opposite direction. And then drawing the knees in towards the chest. Hug the knees up. And release the head all the way down. Extend those legs up towards the sky. And just take a moment just to check in with those legs. You can just feel the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. And then bend those knees again. From here, we're going to just take a little rock up into a seated position, sitting nice and tall. And lift the chest, lift up out of the hips. So it's a nice active stretch up out of the hips into the waist, lifting the heart. And then from here, we're going to breathe in. Lift both arms all the way up towards the sky. Linking those fingers, turn those palms up, stretch out into those hands. And then exhale, ease over to the right hand side. And then come up over to the left hand side. And breathe in, lifting the chest. Take the hands round behind you, press those fingers into the earth. Roll the chest and the heart, draw the elbows towards each other. And then from here, we're going to come forward. So let the head release all the way down towards the earth. You may be able to get your head down, but you might not. And that's wherever you are, that's fine. Just think about that release from that compression in the lower back. So extending each vertebrae. So we've done our little back bends, and now we're kind of coming into that lovely forward bend and that lovely stretch here. And then from here, breathing in and lifting all the way up. We're going to roll through, come onto the hands, onto the knees. Press down into those hands. And then as we breathe in, we're going to bring the chest and the heart forward into our cat pose. And the tops of the toes are on the floor. And then as we exhale, just round through, pull the tailbone in. So we're kind of moving in the opposite direction to we were just a moment ago. Pull the chest and the heart forward. And exhale. And just rolling through. Taking your time. Just noticing, checking in with the back, with the hips. Rounding through the back. And now tucking the toes under. Exhale, push back into your downward facing dog. Just bend one knee at a time and just turn that tailbone high and just roll in through the backs of the legs, opening those backs of the legs, drawing down into the earth with your feet, down into the earth with your hands, and then lifting. So we're using those pranas that we were working with last month. That Apana energy that draws us down, that Udana energy kind of lifts and expands into our body. That tailbone lifts up high. From here, we're going to lift the right leg. So just lifting that right leg up towards the sky. Stretch into that right leg. Exhale, come into plank. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Ripple back, keeping that knee in towards the chest. And then exhale, open that leg up behind you. So it's kind of like almost cycling. Coming forward, bring the knee in towards the chest. Taking back, keeping that leg in towards the chest until you expand back. And then exhale, bring that knee in towards the chest, holding it here. From here, we're going to take the foot just to the outside of that right hand.
Keep that chest and the heart lunging forward. Bring the back knee down onto the floor. Allow those toes to go flat here. Pressing out into that right leg. And turn those toes just very slightly out. And we pull the chest and the heart forward. So dropping down, opening into this front of this left thigh. And we're going to bring the left hand slightly over. And the right hand can come onto that right knee. And just easing that. So we're going to breathe in, push. And then as we exhale, come back. And then breathe in, push that knee away. And even think about rolling onto this outside edge of this right foot here. Push through. Exhale. And breathe in and push that knee out. Now think about the chest moving forward and up over to that left shoulder. Take this right arm, sweep it all the way up and over. And stretch that arm back behind you. Keep pressing into that left hand. And just dropping into those hips here. Then exhale, sweep this right hand, just nice and fluid, all the way back. Open the chest and exhale. And again, breathing in, circling that arm. And then exhale, taking that hand back one more time. Circle the arm so it comes over the right knee, over to the left hand. Sweep it all the way up, take it down. And then bend the back leg and just take hold of those left toes. Pull the chest towards that right knee. Roll that right shoulder back. Open the chest. Big, strong stretch into that left thigh. And you'll probably see my left thigh is quite low to the ground. So make sure you're not too high up. And that makes it quite a bit hard, a little bit higher. And then release that foot all the way down towards the earth. Bring that foot in. Turn those toes in a little bit. Pull the chest and the heart forward. Take the hands on the outside, right hand on the outside of the right foot. From here, we're going to breathe in. Push into that right leg. Lift both arms up towards the sky. Stretch those arms all the way up. Exhale. Circle those arms all the way through. Breathe in, lifting those arms up. Press into that right foot. And opening. Work with the breath here. And breathe in, just really fluid. Think of that water element. Just imagine that your arms are just swashing through water. And then exhale, let those hands drop all the way down towards the earth. Tuck the back toe under, push back with that right leg. Pressing all the way back. Breathe in, come forward into your plank. Bring the knees down onto the floor. Pull the chest and the heart forward, lower down. Lifting up, softening into the hips, opening the heart. Exhale, push back into your downward facing dog. Press out into those hands. Lift the tailbone higher. Just move into those heels as if you're walking. And bring some movement so we're kind of easing. Listen to your breath. Use that Ujjayi breath here. And as we use that Ujjayi breath, we can really kind of like settle our bodies into the earth. Now turn that tailbone up towards the sky. Now from here, we're going to lift that left leg up towards the sky behind you. So that left leg lifts. Now breathe in. Bring the left knee in towards the chest. Come forward into plank. Now, keeping that leg where it is, push back into downward facing dog and then lifting that left leg all the way up. It's kind of like cycling it, then bring it back in towards the chest. Come forward and then keeping it in the chest, push back and then extend it all the way out. Cycle it round back in towards the chest. That's it, brilliant, lovely. And then taking that left foot to the outside edge of the left hand. And we're going to take our time. If you need anything underneath that back knee, then you can take something underneath that back knee. We're going to bring that back knee down onto the floor. And the left toes are going to turn out to the side. So just turning the left toes out. Take the right hand out to the right. So just breaking it down nice and slowly. Take the left hand onto the left knee. Breathe in, push that left leg away, open the chest, roll this left shoulder back, and then exhale, let it come back a little bit. And then breathe in, pressing that leg away, looking over that shoulder. And exhale. And breathe in. Coming through. From here, we're going to take that left arm, lift that left arm up towards the sky. Drop into this right hip. So we're really dropping into that right hip. So we're going to just circle back. Then from here, we're going to take that arm. We're going to circle it back over the hip, over that left knee, over towards the right shoulder, and circle it through. Watch this right shoulder, and again, circling. And breathe, work with the breath. Just imagine that you're circling through that water. Exhale, this time we're going to come round and we're going to pick up that right foot. Now, you don't have to pick up that right foot if you don't want to. So take the left hand. If you don't want to, you can just take the hand and you can just bend the leg. Or you can take this left arm up and drop the left arm around the hip and just bend that leg. Or you can take hold of those right toes. Whatever feels good for you, appropriate for you. And open the chest. Exhale, lift that left arm all the way up. Take that left hand down onto the floor. Let those toes, these left toes, just walk in those left toes in. So we're still into quite a nice deep lunge. We're going to lift up, bring those arms all the way up into our Ardha Chandrasana. And feel yourself lifting through the hips, relaxing those shoulders. Breathe in. As we exhale, let those arms, just imagine they're just flowing through water here. Breathe, coming up. And exhale. And coming down. And breathing in. And just one more time, breathing in, lifting those arms. Circling them through. Exhale, let the hands come all the way down towards the earth. Tuck that back toe under. Push back into your downward facing dog. Press into those hands. Come forward, bring the body into plank, bring the knees down. Bring the chest forward, lower the chest down onto the floor. Easing up. And then exhale, push back into your downward facing dog. Spread out into those hands. And just very gently, just ease through the backs of the legs, pressing down into the hands. Lift the tailbone high. Bend the knees, walk, step or jump in between the hands. Releasing the head all the way down. And as we breathe in, kind of ripple up through the body. As you exhale, let the head float down. Breathing in, lifting, and exhale. And then this time, breathe in, lifting all the way up, kind of rolling up through the back, taking those arms up towards the sky. Stretch those arms all the way up. Bring the palms into the heart. Samastitihi. Just let those hands come together. Open up through the toes. Press down into the feet. Eyes closed. And as we breathe, just feel the belly expanding, feel the belly contracting. And then breathe in, lift the arms up towards the sky. Stretch those arms up, take a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, bring the hands all the way down through the center of the body. So just drawing the hands all the way down towards the earth. Release the head all the way down. Breathing in, looking halfway up. Exhale, from here we're going to breathe in and take that right leg up. You can use bricks under the hands here if you want to. Just lifting that right leg. Exhale, bring that right knee in towards the nose. Just bringing that right knee towards the nose.
And then breathe in and lifting that right leg up behind you. Exhale, circle it back into your chest again. So you're kind of like cycling with that leg. Extending that leg out. Exhale, cycle that leg in. And breathe in. Excuse me. Lift that chest high. Bend into that left leg. Pull the chest and the heart forward. Drop back with that right foot. Now the arms are probably reaching forward if you're using your bricks, and that's fine. I'm just going to move my bricks out of the way. Bring my right arm. Reach my right arm forward. Circle that right arm all the way back. Look to the right foot. Bring the left arm over the top of the head. And just easing down here, reaching into that right leg. Reaching up into that left hand. Bend that knee a little bit deeper, that front knee. As we breathe, just hold it here. Make sure we're not gripping with that mat. And bend those knees. Bend that left knee. Look up to that left hand. Now straighten into that left leg. Reach forward with that left hand. Now this right hand, just let it run up the thigh and onto the hip, and let the left hand come down towards the earth. Roll that right shoulder back up towards the sky. Unfurl that right arm, and that right arm reaches to the sky. Back into that left hip, press into that right heel. Gaze up towards that top hand. Good, lovely. Now from here, we're going to bring that right arm over the head so it kind of reaches, so you're just long in that body. And then exhale, circle that arm all the way down. Circle that arm all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, let that arm come down. Breathing in, lift that arm all the way up. Exhale, bend that left leg, bring both hands down onto the inside. Come onto those toes. Pull the chest and the heart forward. Lifting, lengthening, bring the back knee down onto the floor and the back toes become flat here. Bring both elbows down onto the floor. You've got bricks if you want to use those bricks. If that feels too much, you can just take the bricks underneath the elbows and rest the elbows. Try to get an even balance into the body here. Pull in that chest and heart forward. And feel that openness into the psoas muscle. Press down into that left big toe knuckle so that leg doesn't kind of roll out to the side, because it's quite tempted to do that. And breathe. And then bring the hands onto the floor. Let that right hip drop a little bit lower and the chest and the heart comes forward. So we kind of, it's almost like a upward dog, but you've got one leg forward, but we're going to increase that a little bit more. So just lift the knee off the floor. Just see if you can balance, lift the knee off the floor, and you're on the tops of the toes of that right foot. Pull in that chest and the heart forward. Exhale, release down. Tuck that back toe under. From here, we're going to lift up. You might need to, I've just jumped in a little bit with my right toes there, so I'm not too wide. And then I'm going to just straighten into that left leg. Breathe in, shifting the weight forward. Exhale, coming back. Lift those left toes. Breathe in, come forward. Take both hands either side of that left foot. Stabilize through the right foot and the left foot. And then from here, we're going to just lift up. You can use your leg. I just use my leg because I've got a tweaky hip this morning. So we're going to lift those arms up. Exhale through water. Take the arms behind, sweeping those arms up. And just nice and fluid with the breath, circling those arms, drawing those shoulder blades together. Breathing in, lifting. This time, turn both feet along the long edge of the mat. Exhale, circle those arms out. Take those hands round behind you. Take those hands into prayer behind you. Either hold on to the elbows or just into prayer. And then from here, we're going to come forward. So
If you want to, you can bend those knees to come forward. If you feel okay, then just coming forward, letting the head hang down. Press the palms together, pull the shoulders away from the ears, and just letting the head release. And just feeling that flow of the breath. Now release the hands, run the hands down to the feet. Lift the chest and the heart, and you'll probably notice you can come a little bit lower here, but it doesn't matter if the head doesn't come onto the floor or if the head does come onto the floor. But as we breathe in, feel yourself lifting and lengthening. And as you exhale, let the head release. Feel that release, that letting go with that out breath. And just feeling the flow and the movement through the body. And then from here, breathe in, bring both hands all the way onto the floor. We're going to walk over to that right leg, so just move in that right leg. Left hand onto the floor, and then we're going to sweep that right arm, keep that right arm going, taking that right arm over the back, sweep it round the hip, breathing in, circling into the shoulder. So we are making big movements into these shoulders, a lovely big range of movement. And then exhale, let that hand come all the way down onto the floor. Straighten into that front leg, head to knee. Breathe in, step forward with the back foot. Release the head all the way down. Lifting the chest halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Bend those knees, breathe in and sweeping those arms up towards the sky. Stretch those arms up. And then let those hands come down into the heart space, Samasthiti. Press down into the feet. Feel that flow of the breath here. Checking in with the energy of those vayus, so the energy of your prana. So we can feel it pressing down into the earth. We can feel it lifting up to the crown of the head. The shoulders are drawing all the way down the back. Breathe in, lift those arms up towards the sky, stretching the arms, keeping the hands through the center of the body if you want to. Just draw them all the way down the midline, hands onto the floor. Releasing the head here. Breathing in, lifting halfway up, and exhale, and fold it down. And breathe in, lifting halfway up. And then from here, we're going to lift the left leg up towards the sky, and the chest comes forward. You can use bricks here if you want to. And then exhale, bring that knee in towards the nose, and then cycle that leg out again. Exhale, cycling it back in. And breathe in, cycling it out. Exhale, bring it in. And this time as we cycle it out, we're going to drop all the way back, and you'll feel that your hands are further forward, and that's fine. From here, we're going to bring that left arm, press into that right leg. Look down towards that left hand as the arm comes up and over. And coming into our exalted warrior, they call it, or our sun warrior. And then just drawing that right arm up, look up towards that right hand, reach down with that leg with that left hand. Just hold it here for a moment. You can use mudras if you want to use mudras. Keep those shoulders relaxed. And then we're going to straighten that front leg. Keep this left hand where it is. And we're kind of, if you sucker that left arm into those left ribs there, so we feel that as we come over, we don't kind of start to arc through those left ribs. And then the right hand comes down onto the floor. Lower yourself down and then lifting that left arm up towards the sky. Look up to that left hand. Pull back into this right hip. It's a little tiny micro move with that left hip. It kind of rolls forward very slightly. And that encourages the ribs and the waist to become nice and long. And we don't kind of bow back into it. We keep nice and strong and long, looking up to that left hand. Now bring that left hand over the head. And then exhale, circle into that arm. And then again, circling through. And breathing in. Just be aware of that movement in the shoulder. Be aware kind of how that feels for you. Everyone's so different. Exhale, let's bring that left hand down onto the floor. Come onto those left toes. Dropping all the way through. Drop into those hips. From here, we're going to bring the elbows down onto the floor. Now, you don't have to bring the elbows down onto the floor here. If you can, try and get them both down. If you can't, you can use a block or a brick, or you can just be on the hands, nice and deep. And you can even bring that back knee down if you want to as well, if it feels just a little bit too much. Or actually, you can try it with the back knee down, the back foot flat, and just see how that feels for you. Big opening into the hip flexors. And as we breathe, think about pulling the chest and the heart forward, so the heart and the chest ripples forward. And then as we exhale, we release it all the way down. Listen to your breath. Allow your breath to guide your practice. From here, we're going to bring those hands all the way back. We're going to lift up onto that knee up. Oh, I should have done that down. Never mind. Lift that knee up, roll over that toe. From here, we're going to, you can use your hands if you want to lift up. Otherwise, just lifting both arms all the way up towards the sky in our crescent lunge pose. Bending that knee, opening through the chest. Circling it forward, lifting. Spreading those toes so we're not gripping. Circling those arms, keep hold of that core so we know that we're working. Breathing in, lifting. And then this time we're going to breathe in. As we lift up, drop the back heel back, turn the front foot forward so you're along the long edge of the mat. Exhale, taking those hands all the way around behind you. Link those fingers behind you now. Just move those arms away. So rolling those shoulders. And as we exhale, we're going to come forward. So just letting the body come down and forward. Let the head release down. Press those heels out. Arms reach up towards the sky. Relax into those shoulders. And let the head move down. Now, you might find it harder to get the head on the floor because the way the arms are. If you can normally get your head on the floor, but that's fine. So really pressing the feet, lifting up through the core. Holding it here, find your balance. And then exhale, let the hands come down, the hips run down towards the earth. Release the head a little bit lower. Bring the hands down, walk the hands over to that left foot. From here, we're going to let that right arm keep moving forward. And then it circles up and then comes down and round and circles. A big range of movements into those shoulders. And exhale. And coming through. And exhale, let that hand come down either onto the floor, onto your brick if you're using it. And then from here, straighten it into that front leg. Step the back leg forward. Release the head all the way down. Bend those knees. Breathe in. Sweep both arms all the way up towards the sky. Bring the thumbs into the heart. Samastiti. Spreading those toes, lift through the body. And listening to the sound of the breath here. And then lift the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, swallow, dive those hands down to the earth. Bend the knees, lift those arms, touch the earth. Bend those, lift the arms up into Utkatasana. Push back into those hips, reach forward. Good, lovely. Press back into those hips, reach forward with those hands. And then breathe in, lift, stand nice and tall, lift that right leg all the way up. Exhale, taking those hands back. Take that right leg back behind you. Lifting the chest and heart, press down into that left foot. Step back with that right leg, sweep that right arm all the way around. Lift the left arm up, so we're coming into our exalted warrior again. Reach in, lengthen with that left hand. Bend into that left knee. Look up to that left hand. Now again, keeping this right hand where it is, straight into the left leg. And the hand's going to move, but try and think about keeping this arm against those ribs as we come forward into Trikonasana. Keep that right hand onto the hip, roll that right shoulder open, look to the right shoulder, look to the left. We're going to come forward, you may have a block or a brick around, and we're going to lift up into our Ardha Chandrasana. Our crescent moon pose. Lifting into that right leg. Roll the right hip open. Roll the right shoulder open. Lift the right arm up towards the sky. Then from here, bring the arm over the head. We're just stretching that arm so it comes over the head. And when we balance with movement, it becomes harder. So let that right arm drop in front of the face. Roll it all the way around. Lift it back up towards the sky. Take it over the head. Sweep it through. Keep that right leg lifted up nice and high. Exhale. Let that right hand come down to the floor or a brick if you're using a brick. Keeping that right leg lifted up nice and high. Bend that left leg. Drop back with that right foot. Sweep both arms up towards the sky. Similar, very similar to what we've just done. Opening the chest, opening the arms. Hold the arms here, slightly looking up. Pull the chest open. Exhale, let both hands come all the way down to the inside of that left foot. Move your bricks out of the way. Drop down nice and low. Pull that chest and heart forward. From here, we're going to drop the right heel down. Bring this left arm underneath. You can use a brick here if you want to take that left hand onto a brick. Sweeping that right arm up and over. Circle the right arm round behind the back and maybe take it onto the left thigh. And then bend that left arm underneath so you can bind with the right hand. Now you might have a strap around that you want to use. Just notice how it feels in that left leg there. Roll the chest up. Just bending nice, maybe even straighten into that leg a little bit. So it's like Trikonasana. And then exhale, bend that leg. Now keep this left shoulder underneath that left leg. Come onto the right toes. Now you can bring the right knee down if you want to, or you can keep that right leg lifted. And we're going to look to lift the foot off the floor. And I've just found a brick there, which is quite handy. So I just let my foot rest on the brick as it comes out here. Keeping the chest and the heart. And then from here, bring the back knee down onto the floor. Walk both hands all the way round. And let the head just drop down onto the earth here. And just dropping the head. Feel the chest and the heart dropping down. Opening up the backs of the legs. And just ease back slightly. And as you ease back slightly, you can feel the opening into the backs of the legs. If you want to, you can maybe take the head down onto the earth, support the head and the neck. And you can come up onto those tiptoes there if you want to. And then exhale, releasing down. Walking the hands all the way over to this right leg. Rotating through
Let that right arm follow through. Exhale, nice big movement into that right hand. From here, we're going to press back into plank. Hold it here nice and strong in your plank. Either coming down knees, nose, chest, or lower down through chaturanga. Good. If you're lowering through chaturanga, really pull those elbows in. Slide through, opening the chest and the heart. Tuck those toes under, push back into your downward facing dog. And while we're here, just check in with your body. Just notice how your left buttock feels, how your right buttock feels. As we've been kind of working through the body here. And then bend those knees, look forward, and then step or jump or walk in between your hands, releasing the head all the way down towards the earth. Breathing in, lifting the chest and the heart high. Exhale, releasing all the way down. Breathing in, lift those arms up. Stretch those arms up towards the sky. Exhale, opening up through those arms. Bend those knees, touch the earth. Lift those arms forward into Utkatasana. Hold it here for a moment. Press the tailbone back, pull into your core. Breathe in, lift the arms up. Lift that left foot up. Exhale, take the arms back as you come into your warrior three, extending out into the left leg. Reach those arms back behind you, keep the chest coming forward. And then from here, we're going to bend into that right leg. Step back with that left leg. Let that left arm sweep all the way up and over. And taking the right arm up towards the sky. Stretch into the right hand, bend that right knee. Reach down with that left hand, breathe here. Think about the energies of that prana and how it moves in your body. Pressing through, stretching up and feel that reach between the hands. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed here. From here, we're going to straighten into that front leg. Keeping this left hand where it is, we're going to come forward into our triangle with the left hand just on the hip. Run the left hand up onto the hip. Open up the chest. Look up over that left shoulder. Feel that movement, that rotation through those ribs here. Look down to that right foot. From here, we're going to push through. Lift up into our Ardha Chandrasana. And lifting that left arm up towards the sky. Stretch out into that left hand. Good, lovely. Now take the left arm up over the head so it comes sort of facing the way the crown of the head goes. And then sweep that arm round in front of the body and take that arm back up to that starting position. Beautiful. And then again, exhale, nice big circle. Keep that back leg lifted, circling it all the way round. And then breathing in and exhale, bring that hand all the way down onto the floor. Excuse me, bring that hand all the way down to the floor. And then we're going to step back nice and deep with that left leg. Bring both hands onto the inside. Holding it here. So we'll sink right down low. Drop, take this right hand kind of underneath. Drop this left heel down. Rotate through the left arm, lift the left arm up towards the sky. Take the left arm round the back. See if you can bind. And when you bind, try not to roll forward. Sometimes you might need to roll forward just to get there. Watch the right shoulder. If you feel it's too much, keep that right hand on the floor and just roll that left shoulder up. We don't have to bind if it feels uncomfortable in the shoulder in any way at all. And just holding it here. Now we're going to release out of that. So take the right hand, let the right hand drop down, and it kind of comes to the outside edge of the right foot. And then bring that left hand down, dropping into that right shoulder, lift the right leg, and look, I found my brick again. It's just in the right place. So you can lift the foot onto a brick if you've got one there, which I did have handily. But otherwise, Otherwise, you can just lifting that leg up. Then from here, bring that foot back onto the floor. Exhale, sweep round to the center. Just dropping the elbows down to the earth. Push the heels out. And let the head just drop here. And maybe rocking backwards and forwards. If you want to, you can take the head down onto the floor. You can take the hands around the head and then come up onto the toes if you want to. And if it's in your practice, you can bring the legs up into headstand, but only if that's in your practice and you feel happy with a headstand. And then opening through the backs are good, lovely. And then from here, we're going to breathe in, lifting all the way up. Walk those hands round to that left foot. Keep that left arm coming forward. Sweep that left arm in a big, nice circle. Bring that left hand down onto the floor. Push back into your downward facing dog. So just pressing back into downward facing dog. Press into those hands. Come forward into plank. Come down either chaturanga or knees, nose, chest. Lift the chest and the heart. And then this time, exhale. Just sit back, drop the hips all the way onto the heels, reaching those arms forward, letting the head release down into the earth. And just holding it here. And just feel that extension, that lovely extension over the back of the legs. Feel the extension over the back of the hips into those buttocks. So nice, big, long stretch, especially after that balance with that leg. And then just extending those arms right out in front of you. Breathe in, ripple up into your cat pose. Just holding it here. Walk those hands a little bit further forward. Come down and lower onto the earth. Hands by the chest. Just wiggle the legs like from side to side so we feel that we can really get a nice opening. Making sure the chest is comfortable on the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Think about the tailbone pressing down into the earth. So we've done a lot of work into stretching with the hamstrings and the quads and working into the inner thighs and outer thighs as well. So we're going to breathe in from here, just taking those hands round, back behind you. Lift the chest and the heart, lift the feet. So we lift into Shalabhasana, then bend the legs, hold onto the feet and push up. So take your time so you can stop off anywhere there. You don't have to come into Dhanurasana at all. So you can just push those feet. So we're coming into that lovely back bend here. Open the chest and the heart. You can stay here in Sphinx if you want to stay here in Sphinx pose. Pressing that tailbone, rolling those shoulders down the back. And then exhale and release all the way down. Let the head just roll to one side. You can maybe shake the hips or do windscreen wipers, whatever feels okay. Wiggling the feet. And then just coming back down, shaking through those hips. And then we're going to do that again. So we're going to take the hands round behind us to start with. Take those hands round. Lift the chest so you kind of really feel that you're working into the back. Bend those legs, then reach round so your body is already lifted. And then push it into the feet and lift that chest up. Good, lovely. Hold it here. I know some of you love your back bends, some of you don't like them so much. So just take a moment to see how that feels.
for your body this morning. And then exhale and releasing all the way down. Let the legs release down. Let the head release down. And again, just shaking through. And then from here, heel toe, the feet back together. You have one nice long tail for the cobra. Hands underneath the chest. Press the tailbone and the upper thighs and the toes into the earth. Lift the body up. Try to keep the hips on the floor. So we're not kind of lifting the hips off. The hips are down. Roll the shoulders. Lift, elevate out of the heart center. Exhale, come back. Now very slowly, so kind of halfway up. Pull, my arms are slightly forward. Pull the tailbone up, so it's kind of like a bit like a cat. Breathe in, bring the chest and the heart forward. Come back a little bit more, but not all the way. Exhale, pull up like a cat, halfway down. And then breathe in, chest comes forward, let the hips drop all the way down onto the floor. So we're very gently just moving the back, the lower back of the body into that cat position. And then from here, we're going to breathe in, ripple up, come forward, let the chest breathe in, bring the chest forward. Excuse me, and then exhale, and then sink all the way back and roll through the body. Coming forward, and exhale, rolling back. So nice and easy flow through the body. Breathing in, coming forward. Walk the hands back a little bit this time as we exhale. Tuck the toes, I'm going to come forward a little bit. Tuck the toes under, push back into the body. So we're really getting a lovely strong forward fold. Think about each vertebrae opening up here in the lower back, in this lumbar region. Maybe the elbows can come down onto the floor. Maybe they can't. It doesn't matter if they can or if they can't. And just letting the head drop down towards the earth. A little rock here. Maybe rock back into the heels. Find that's a little bit stronger. Then come forward, rocking back into the heels. And then from here, taking the hands onto the floor. Press into those hands. I want you to really press into those fingers and the knuckles. Lift the tailbone up behind you. And as we do, come right up onto those feet. Lift up those heels. Pull the chest and the heart forward. Pull up through your core. Exhale, round the back. So we can have that little rounding movement. Drop a little bit, that circling. Breathe the chest in. Exhale, round. Now pull up through Mula Bandha. Come through. Breathe in. Slightly think about engaging Uddiyana Bandha. Shift the weight. Let the weight come forward and lift the toes off the floor. And then just holding it there for a moment if that feels right for you. Remember, you've got cushions, so if you feel that you're going to pitch forward a little bit, you've got cushions that you can put in front of your head. And then just lifting, good, lovely, lifting those toes. You can lift one foot, then the other. Keep looking forward. Don't look back at what you're doing, because that gives you the tendency to kind of roll forward. Press those knees into the upper, squeeze the arms with the legs and the legs with the arms. Press the legs into the arms. Making sure that you're coming, so if you fall out a bit and then try and come from below, you can do that, but it's just a little bit harder to kind of get that balance. So if you come from above and get that movement, so the chest comes forward, we really power up into the feet. And we pull the tailbone under, we lift through our bandhas. Place those hands on the floor so they're like chaturanga hands. Pull the chest forward and let the weight shift forward as we've just done, kind of in that cat position. And then when you're ready, lift the toes off the floor. You might hold it for a really long time. You might not hold it for very long at all. Lovely. So into Bakasana, our crow pose. So from here, we've done our little crow. And then just dropping down, let the bottom come down onto the earth. Little drop, hug those knees in, maybe cross the ankles. And just tugging those knees in here, rounding through. Bring the chin in towards the chest. Maybe have a little rock through the hips here. Just holding it here. So again, just very fluid, like a little boat. Lifting those legs up. I'm going to hug around the back of my legs, so the effort isn't, because we're coming down to the end of the class, the effort isn't so much in lifting the legs, it's just holding the balance. As we just hold it here. And then the knees can come in and have a little rock down through that lower back. Just a few little rocks. I'm going to move down my mat a little bit. And then rock up into a seated position. And sitting on a boulder, a booster, a boulder or a block or anything, a boulder, a bolster. And then rolling those shoulders down the back. Lift up through the crown of the head. Let the eyes close here. Just taking both arms up towards the sky. Stretch into those fingers. Exhale, dropping one hand down. Just sweep that left arm over the head. Exhale, sweeping it all the way around. Lift both arms up towards the sky, keeping those shoulders nice and fluid and mobile, coming down and easing all the way through. Lifting both arms up towards the sky. Bring the hands into the heart. Let the eyes close. Take a moment here. As we sit tall, feel active, lifting up out of the waist. It's an active lift and the neck is long. And we can feel that flow, that ujjayi breath. And just start to soften that ujjayi breath here. Until your breath softens and your body softens. And then letting the arms just drop out to the sides. And then from here, we're going to roll down into Shavasana. So take a moment to make yourself warm and comfortable. If you want to put any additional clothing on, just pop in additional clothing on now. Making sure you're nice and warm and comfy. So lying in Shavasana, making sure that you're nice and comfortable. And as autumn turns to winter, it doesn't seem that long ago that all the plants were in blossom. And nature has this way of just showing us that nature's always there, just it lies dormant over winter. And under the surface, there's a lot still happening. So this visualization I'm going to do today hopefully will lighten up the autumn, we're into winter now, autumn, winter days, and just give us that light for the renewal that comes with the arrival of the light and the spring. And it's also a metaphor for the work over autumn and winter that we ourselves do to incubate hopes and dreams for our future. So allow yourself to just become comfortable. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and into the earth. Soften your face, maybe with a half smile. And become aware of the natural flow of your breath. Just feel that flow. And just imagine that you're in a beautiful garden. And this garden is in late autumn, winter, that turn, where we are now. And it's a place where you feel safe and peaceful. So what do you see? Notice the colours, the shapes, the textures, the fragrances of this autumn garden, autumnal winter garden. And just imagine that you've come to your garden to plant the spring flowering bulbs. And I just want you to picture yourself picking up a bulb and holding it in your hand. As you hold it in your hand, notice its shape, its colour, its texture. And picture yourself picking up a trowel and digging a hole in the soil. Notice the colour and the feel of the soil. And now picture placing a bulb in the soil and covering it with this earth. And then you water the soil around it where it's been planted. And there's a chill in the air. And the wind is blowing leaves around the garden. And even though you sense and you know that winter is on its way, your heart is warmed when you think of that little bulb snug in the soil. And soon it will put down roots. And then it will lay dormant in the darkness of the soil over the cold months ahead. And in time, when the weather starts to warm up again, the bulb will draw on its store of energy and send up leaves and a stem. And then eventually it will flower. So picture in your mind's eye the beauty of your flowering, the bloom in spring, just shimmering in a gentle breeze. See that flower. And again, think of it as a metaphor of your own life, where we kind of reserve our energy in the winter time, these months ahead, so that we can grow and we can blossom in the spring. And maybe take a few moments now just to consider what you want to incubate in your life over these coming months. Ready to send up green shoots next spring. So when you're ready, I just want you to let go of this image, this flower in your garden. Become aware of your body again. And just notice where it's in contact with the floor, with your support, and all those sensations associated with your body being supported on the floor. Bring your awareness back to your surroundings. And just resolve to take any positive insights that you've gained from this visualization back into your everyday life. Excuse me. And when you're ready, bring some movement to your fingers. Bring some movement to your toes. Bend the knees and bring the knees in towards the chest. And just tuck those knees in. And rock those knees from side to side. Drop the knees over to the right hand side and just pull the knees in towards the chest and dropping the jaw down. And then just very slowly in your own time, just rolling up into a seated position, taking your time. Coming up into a seated position, sitting tall, and again, actively feel yourself lifting, growing up out of those hips. Breathing in, lifting those arms all the way up towards the sky. Bring those palms together. Exhale, bring the thumbs all the way down to the heart. Look down towards the fingers. Rub the hands together. Just create some heat and energy in those hands. Not too much, don't scatter that energy. Not enough, you won't create that heat. And when you're ready, just let those hands come over the eyes and just seal in that practice and see that energy there. Breathe that energy and then blink in that energy into the eyes here. Drop the thumbs into the heart, look down towards the fingers. And then breathe in and lift in the head. And thank you very much for your practice this morning. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you feel ready for this winter's day. So thank you very much. Om Shanti.